I'm here to tell you that running only works for so long. You're going to keep seeing these shadows. These shadows are going to keep coming up.
Hey beautiful, welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey. This is your weekly sanctuary for waking up from autopilot and transforming the way you approach life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It is my mission to help you heal unprocessed emotions and release stuck energies by alchemizing your struggle cycles into opportunities for deep self-love, awareness, trust, and connection, to return to your innate essence of being, stepping back into your energy of alignment. Because here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light, embodying all parts that make you, you. So if you are ready to get to the root of cultivating real change, get cozy, grab your journal and maybe favorite crystals, and let's discover our power within together.
Hi, loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Naturally Empowered Living podcast. This is your host, guide, and mentor in all things energetics, emotions, and self-awakening, Jenna Smith. And I want to begin this episode with a quick, simple practice you can do in any moment of any day, after any stressor or dysregulation or moment that you just need to be or pause or come down or regulate, whatever terminology you want to insert there. You know what I'm talking about. You just need that second to just feel yourself coming back down. So in just a moment, I'm going to invite you to join me in taking a deep breath. It's that simple. So let's take a deep breath in through our nose and an even longer exhale out. And on this next inhale in, notice on that longer exhale, you feel your body softens, right? Bring attention to that energy literally softening. Now, I want to be fully transparent with you. I use that simple practice very often, right? That pause, oh my gosh. If you could see inside of my mind some days, it looks a lot like a reel that I recently shared. Just, floating with all these responsibilities and to-dos and priorities and the kids and the conversations I need to have and my family and the appointment I need to make, the phone call I need to make, all the things, right? Constantly circling, motioning through my mind. Like, what gives? Like, what am I not remembering? What am I forgetting? There's too much in my head. Oh my gosh, am I being present? Just scattered. And also wondering, am I the only one who feels this way half the time, right? But then, which has been a new addition to that, downward spiral, that mental spiral, right? For me, at least, this new addition within the last couple years has been a pause, an awareness, that breath with an even longer exhaled sigh. Having that inner knowing that even though shit is still going to hit the fan, the stressors are still going to come back, we're still going to have harder seasons, there's still going to be stuff going on all the time because this is life, I know I have this inner knowing that everything will be okay. It will get done, or it will get figured out. Things will settle down, whatever, that knowing is in those moments. Then peace enters my being. It's just that was the missing link for so long. For the majority of my life, I was so stuck in a high-strung, chronic stress, addicted to chaos state, and something new within my life that seems so subtle, and maybe even non-existent on the outside, right? People might not even realize that because I'm still a naturally energetic person, right? I just always am going and high and even though I'm such an introvert. But it might not even be existent on the outside. But something that's so subtle to me, but so huge, is that pause, that sigh, that sense of peace, and then possible action or clarity or whatever in the direction that I feel is best in those moments. And that, my friends, is a completed nervous system response loop closing back to a regulated, calm state. So hopefully like that kind of painted a picture for you, or maybe you could, insert yourself in those shoes. Or if you did see the reel that I posted on Instagram, the other day or last week, whenever it was, it's not just like a creative, like, oh, this is a good idea to talk about. No, this is a reflection of something so many of us experience. And then we get stuck in that loop and don't come back to calm. We don't come back to that regulated state. We don't close that loop. So in those moments when the noise in your mind feels louder than your own voice, or, it paralyzes you, or you're in that fight, flight, freeze response, or that you're drowning in the responsibilities of life, allowing these thoughts, these cognitive triggers to control you, we get stuck in those loops versus allowing ourselves, yes, to feel the shit, to feel the chaos, to feel the stress, but then come back to regulation and calm. So today I want to talk about the syzygy to that heightened state. That turn of the corner on that loop to come back down to regulate. And every time I say syzygy, think of like a union, or, two opposites that come into union to make a whole. Okay? If you visually want to think of an infinity loop, on one end, let's say, is dysregulation, and then you continue down that infinity loop, and then it's regulation. Or think of chaos, and then you loop back and you have calm. Or you think of stress, and then you come back and you have peace. Whatever that is, everything is a dance of opposites. Life is a beautiful, delicate dance, right? The shadows and the light, the hard and the flow, or, the struggle and the flow, whatever those things. There's so many, the force, and the flow. Flow is just coming to me apparently. So today I want to talk about that syzygy of our nervous system, the dysregulation back to the regulation. Because this is a solid truth that I've been sitting with lately, is that the most powerful way, the simplest way, I'm not saying it's the easiest way, right? The simplest, most organic, innate way to dissolve stress naturally, sustainably, without forcing it, right? Without trying to control it, is to become the most authentic, regulated version of yourself. Now, going back to what I just said about the syzygy, right? Like, regulation isn't going to be your 24/7. However, it's being able to come back into that regulated version of yourself, to stay authentic and knowing that, hey, like we're going to hit those dysregulated states, but then we're going to know how to come back. Right? It's about being connected and aware to our body, to our truth, to our boundaries, to our energy, to our authenticity of what anchors it all together. Because the more that we abandon or run from or shove under the rug or dissociate or, all those survival mode instincts, the more we do that, the more we abandon who we really are to either fit in or please others or keep the peace or force or get caught in the constant go, go, go cycles. Our nervous system, yes, it adapts to survive. And if those imprints aren't closed, or those loops aren't closed, aren't resolved, or aren't processed, anything resembling said trigger can bring us back into that fight, flight, or freeze response. You might feel the anxieties, the angers, the agitations, dissociation, hypervigilance, shutting down, emotional withdrawal, all in service of protecting yourself. Yes, so these are beautiful mechanisms put into place. But the secret, not the secret, like the magical step here, the missing link, is that second half of the loop to actually close it and process it. Because when we're dysregulated, we tend to slip into survival tendencies. Insert the people pleaser, insert the overachiever, insert the perfectionist, insert the controller, the fixer, and then we get into these states of hypervigilance or trying to force things or never being able to relax. And yes, all of these parts are trying to keep us safe because of their own reasoning, right? Because of said experience that happened that put our nervous system into that state, but we weren't able to process it to come back to safety. So over time, those responses, even though they're here to protect us, they're pulling us also away from our presence. That presence, that safety, that wholeness, that authenticity of who we truly are. That sovereignty. Like healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from allowing and teaching our system to feel safe enough to be ourselves, to live presently in the now as we are. All of we are. All of us. All of we are. All of what makes us who we are. There we go. So let's talk about nine ways to support your system in returning to that authentic state of being. Okay, and I want to preface this that it is not always comfortable, right? So, starting this is so funny. I was just talking to my mom the other day. Like, I told her, I said, I really realized after I really started, I'm years, into the evolution because, okay, I'm not saying we're years into it, but it's almost like that point of when we wake up, I guess you could say. Like when we wake up, yes, we're always evolving. Yes, we're always growing, but a lot of times, like if we're not aware of it, if we are resisting it, if we're not open to it, right? It's easier to stay stuck, or we continue on these loops, and I'm not saying I don't still have these loops coming up for me, right? But now it's like, oh, this is a pattern. Oh, this is, I need to work on this, XYZ. But something that I was telling my mom, after being quote unquote awake, the past few years, it's just the point of doing this work deeply and really getting under the surface and doing the emotional work, the energetic work, the somatic piece of this healing on my journey. I'm like, anger, I'm angry a lot more. And it's like, it's so beautiful to witness because for how many years, for the majority of my life, I'd get angry and think it was my fault, or I'd get angry and shove it down and continue on that dissociation path, or I would continue on in the people-pleasing role or keeping the peace or whatever that might have been. But it's like now that it's anger coming up, and I'm sharing this because this is a very pivotal point to make when, let's just say, for example, this is very umbrella for anyone, but when we get started on this path of this deep work and we possibly have this anger emotion coming up, or maybe for you it's sadness, you might seem different to others, or maybe you don't feel like yourself initially, because then it's like this isn't normal. Like, shouldn't I be feeling better, or shouldn't I be happier more, or shouldn't I be feeling good more often, or when is this gonna stop? Like, you feel like you're almost going backwards, right? And that's where we get it wrong. Like, that is the beauty of this work, because you're finally allowing all of those feelings that you have suppressed, possibly repressed, shoved down so far deep, and have created these protector parts around that anger emotion, coming back to my example. Now you're actually setting them free. You're allowing them to be, and you're listening to them. So don't mistake, if you're finding yourself, if you're actively like, oh my gosh, why am I so angry all the time? Or why am I crying more, or crying easier, or sad all the time, or whatever that might be. I'm not here to say like your journey is going to be comfortable once you're awake or aware or on this path. What surfaces is going to be all of the things that you've suppressed. I'm just saying suppressed as the umbrella of all the terms, right? Suppressed, repressed, shoved under the rug, set aside for possibly decades of your life. And these emotions are not the problem. I want you to see them as a doorway, like you are on the right path. Once we start to accept them and let them be, possibly be felt or be seen, or simply just be present and not shoved under the rug once again, we create the space for the energy to start moving through us again. So 9 steps, 9 tips in helping to support our nervous system to return to our authentic state of being, aka our energy of alignment, right? I say that a lot on the show, our energy of alignment. But in nervous system terminology, let's just regulation, regulation is a word, our authentic state of being. So number 1 is slowing down enough to actually listen, even if it's for 2 minutes. 2 minutes of silence can allow your body to actually show you what it needs, right? When you pause long enough to hear, to listen, to possibly tune into any sensations, or to tune into a possible need without judgment, without rushing to fix or force, that's when our nervous system or our body, our intuition, right? It starts to talk. We just need to slow down enough to listen. Number 2 is finding pockets of that stillness or that slow down time. Possibly a quiet morning moment, or even sitting in your car, without any music or anything before going inside of the store, before going inside your house, or just while you're driving. Like, I do that a lot. I sit in silence a lot when I'm driving. Yes, I can't be fully eyes shut meditation, but I'm able to just be. Those small pauses and pockets truly, truly add up. And number 3 is asking yourself on occasion, what can I do to meet my needs in a nourishing way? Possibly it is alone time. Possibly it's more deep breaths. Possibly it's focusing on taking that pause, or having a good cry, or having a good conversation, or a hug. Like, whatever your body is asking for, try to honor it. Or you could ask, what am I actually feeling in my body right now? If you're having a hard time meeting those needs, or knowing what your needs are, possibly just start with, what am I feeling in my body right now? Maybe you feel a little tightness in your chest, tingling in your forehead, sensations in your stomach, or your thighs, or your knees, your ankles. Once you really allow yourself to tune in to what am I actually feeling right now, you can return back to step one, and slow down. Slow down to then maybe add that practice into your day. Maybe when you wake up in the morning, or when you go to bed at night, just have these little check-ins to just be in those times to check in with your body. Number 4 is shutting off your phone, your tablet, the TV, smart anything, that you have, that you possess, and tune back into your energy. Kind of going back to, listening to your body, tuning into your energy. But we need to turn off the stimulants. We need to turn off the phone. I'm not saying okay, we need to break the doom scroll habit. I'm just telling you just to turn it off. Have time within your day without phone, tablet, TV time to just be. Number 5 is journaling, talking, meditating, moving, actually honoring time to feel through emotions. Maybe you got really angry on a phone call earlier, but then you had to leave to go run an errand or something. So you were never able to fully process that feeling. Or, you had a really tough conversation, or you lost your patience, or you had really overstimulated moments throughout your day. Do you actually allow yourself the time to process and discharge those instead of holding them inside? Journaling helps with that. Talking them out with a loved one, meditating, moving your body, exercising, yoga. Actually allowing the time to feel through your emotions. Number 6 is practicing breath work. This is another way to move through your emotions too. But breath work is a beautiful thing for nervous system regulation also. You could try boxed breathing, or the 4-7-8 breath, where you really emphasize that exhale. So box breathing is, think of, a square box has 4 sides. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold for 4 seconds. And you could do that 4 times if you want, just to keep that magical number 4. And then the 4-7-8 breath is where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 7, and then you exhale for 8. So if that's too long, if those seconds are too long, just really don't even worry about the numbers, and just focus or bring your attention to having a longer exhale than an inhale, because that longer exhale tells your body, your nervous system, okay, safety. It naturally ignites that parasympathetic nervous system state. Number 7 is to move your body. This could be gently, it could be with stretching, or a big sigh, with actually letting your shoulders drop and relax, possibly a shake or a hum with your hands on your heart. One hand on your heart, one on your belly. These could just be natural, instinctive movements to help that energy move through your system. Number 8, this is something I just started doing. So part of this, I just started doing ending my day with a hug to yourself. You're hugging, actually, yes, hugging yourself. But it feels so good. Kind of weird, kind of awkward at first, but it feels so good. A lot of times I then, picture my inner child, or maybe have a conversation with her. but just that gentle hug of like, hey, you did great today. And even like if you did have hard times, like you could give yourself that acknowledgement of like, today wasn't a good day, but I did my best, or I'll, do this tomorrow, or, whatever that might be. It's really just acknowledging all of you. And also ending your day. This is something I've been doing for years, and I just started doing this with my kids the last probably year or two, is a body scan before bed. Just literally laying in your bed and just bringing your attention to the top of your head and just moving. I move down the chakra points with my kids, but if you don't work with chakras, that's totally fine. Just from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes, and just bring your attention to those parts of your body. Pick pivotal points: your head, your forehead, your chin, your nose, your throat, your heart, your belly, your hips, and just kind of move down your body and just tune in. What am I feeling? Any sensations, any thoughts that are coming up as I'm moving down? Okay, that's going to naturally bring yourself down, but also it's bringing that mind-body connection back online. And number 9 is possibly one of the most supportive ways to deepen this work is to find someone that can help. Finding a practitioner who can safely guide you in this somatic awareness, in this embodiment therapy. Someone that could help you maybe get out of your head a little more and back into your body to really bridge that connection, to really get into that felt sense of being, that embodiment sense of being. That union of your mind and body, that I keep saying embodiment, but like bridging the gap into the embodiment is the union of your mind and your body, true presence. And that was a lot. Like I just rattled 9 things off. Some were very similar, some were just kind of add-ons and just different ideas for the same concept. But if at all else, taking anything from this episode is to lean in and trust. Learning to trust yourself, to trust your cues, to trust your intuition, to trust that gut, to trust those sensations. And to learn to trust is to also learn to listen to yourself, to slow down enough to listen, to learn what safety is within yourself first. Because everything that's been hidden or shoved under the rug or dissociated or avoided or abandoned will start or is already, rising. It comes up to the surface, and you'll see it in habits. You'll see it in experiences, with interactions, with patterns. And absolutely, of course, you always have a choice to be open to working with it or resisting it once again. But I'm here to tell you that running only works for so long. You're going to keep seeing these shadows. These shadows are going to keep coming up. The more we avoid them, they're still going to come up. Our subconscious, our bodies, ourselves want to heal. So they're going to continue to come up until we give them the space and safety to do so. And this season, Scorpio season, the energy is running very deep. And I love, maybe it's because like I live in this energy all the time because I'm Scorpio sun through and through and through and through and through. But this energy just invites us to become the alchemist of our own evolution. Stepping into who we truly are. Like Scorpio season represents that death and rebirth, that transformation piece, the alchemy of turning what was possibly once so heavy and painful into something healing and beautiful. Always finding beauty even in the pain. Like that's true sovereignty, right? And that's the work that we do inside root cause therapy, inside my Reiki energy healing. Like we meet what's been hidden, those emotions, those memories, those patterns, not to necessarily relive them, but to release their hold, to process and discharge, to transmute them, to then bring in that wisdom, that self-compassion, that truth, that safety back into the body. And the more that we learn to stay with ourselves through that, within our breath, within our authenticity, within our truth, life begins to feel lighter, right? It brings the peace and the safety and the sovereignty back. And I know, like, I used to think that's asked backwards, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to accept the darkness, the demons within me. Like, oh my gosh, this is so dark and scary. And oh my gosh, what can of worms am I opening? And that's why so many of us don't even get started. But we naturally bring in safety. Like, this brings us back to that base core of the episode, being the most authentic, regulated version of you, welcoming all parts that make us who we are. Like, root cause therapy and energy healing, it's not about fixing. It's about bringing safety back to the body, to come back into wholeness, bringing truth back into who you are, to really tune into that energy, stepping back into that energy of alignment. Like, you already are the medicine your body and mind is waiting for. And I'm so here to walk with you. Oh, thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you got something, just a little anything, little something out of this episode. I would love to hear from you. Grab the link in the show notes to contact me, reach out to me, anything. You know where to find me. And until next week, my loves, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. I'm sending my love and so much light.
Did you find this episode free or empowering? Please read my review. Tickle, boop.
Thank you for spending the sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. If this episode brought you closer to stepping into your energy of alignment, I'd love for you to leave a written review and share how this show has supported your journey. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps others find the space of transformation. And sharing it with someone who might need it spreads the ripple of healing even further. Be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with me and explore personalized healing sessions and mentorships to deepen your self-awakening journey. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.